Before I found Well Infused, I had worked in healthcare since I was 18, so I started as a nursing assistant at our local hospital, transitioned into being an RN in the labor and delivery department for about 6 years until I went back to school. And then I worked in primary care as a nurse practitioner for 5 years. Before I looked into Well Infused, I had looked into maybe starting my own practice. I looked into a couple sources where they could help me come up with a boutique style practice. I was having trouble trying to decide how I could do a non-insurance model or just where I wanted to go from that. And then when I came into contact with Well Infused as a patient myself, that's when I had told them if they ever wanted to open their practice closer to me, I would love to work for them. Not really knowing that they would open for franchise and I would have the opportunity to have my own business. And once I saw what all they did and how much better I felt as their patient, I just knew that that's where I wanted to go. I discovered Well Infused through my friend Elizabeth. She's the nurse practitioner at Well Infused Noblesville. I met her in nursing school. We've been friends ever since. I've always been following her practice and things she was doing. I thought it was really cool because we don't have anywhere near us doing those kind of services. And then I actually became a patient of hers myself. And once I started seeing the huge health benefits and transition in myself and my family, I just knew that was something that I needed to bring here to my community and just change the way that I had been practicing this whole time. There were a lot of things that drew me to Well Infused. I think the biggest part is just I was already a patient. So I tested it. I loved how I felt. I loved all the things that they offered. And then just knowing that they already had it established. They had the protocols, they've done the research, they have practiced all of the things that they're doing for their patients, they've already done themselves. And I just knew that I wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel. Everything was already there, I just had to make it happen. I think what really made me confident in moving forward with my decision to own a Well Infused is every person on the Well Infused team uses their services. The owners use and test out every product and every protocol they do before they offer it to patients. So we're not just selling things that we don't believe in. And that was just really important to me to know that I was on a team of people that were really making sure that these were safe and the best routes for their patients before we started offering that to them. So in my previous role, I think some problems I typically had was just not being able to practice the way I felt I needed to practice. I think all providers feel this way, but especially as a nurse practitioner, you have a collaborator, you have to make sure you have someone believing in the things that you're doing. You have insurance to deal with. So there would be tests that I really felt like patients needed and I couldn't order them because I knew insurance didn't pay for them. And I had even been told by administration not to order them because insurance wouldn't pay. So I just felt like I wasn't able to fully give patients their best shot at getting better and improving their health. So I just love now that I don't have to worry about that and I can test patients for whatever I feel they need, and then I can make my recommendations based on their needs and not based on what insurance or other people tell me I need to do. I think one of the biggest things that helped me make this decision was just having a team that is so focused on making sure everybody does well. Everybody has the same goals. Everybody wants every patient to feel their best and to have their best health. Every patient, their experience is customized. We're not just telling every patient to do the same thing. The nurses are great, the receptionists are great, the collaborator is great. Everybody on the team is just supportive and they're always reaching out and they're just making sure that we have everything that we need. And I just think that you don't get that everywhere. I think it's a very different feeling being just a nurse practitioner versus being the owner. When you're a nurse practitioner, you're still making your own decisions, but you're still thinking about how someone else wants that to be done. There's rules to follow, whereas being the owner, I get to call the shots. I get to run the business how I feel it needs to be ran. I get to treat patients how I feel they need to be treated, and I think that's just really important to me. Corporate Well Infused has been amazing at helping me because not only am I transitioning into a whole new just area of being a nurse practitioner, just owning a business. I've never owned a business before. Lots of things to learn on just the back end of things, and they are just very helpful. They're always giving me tips to the best that they can and just making sure I have all the things I need, in both roles. The Well Infused marketing team is amazing. They helped me get all of my patients. The first day that we opened our schedule up, it was booked within minutes. They have helped market and help make sure that I spread the word that my practice was coming before it was even here, when I was way too busy to even be thinking about marketing myself. They've really helped me when it comes to speaking in front of everyone, speaking to patients, just being confident and talking about what we do and why we do it, and I could not have done it without them. The first few weeks of our practice was crazy. I don't even know if I really remember them because they were so busy. We went from just thinking we would have a slow few weeks to being our schedule maxed out. I had to hire a nurse within days of opening the schedule. The amount of people that just come in and out of the doors was just amazing to me. The amount of people that really wanted to get started in doing functional medicine and fix their health, it just amazed me. I just knew it would come, but I just didn't know it would be that fast. Corporate really helped me when I needed to start hiring staff. They helped post job openings for me on our social media. They sent me applications, things that they really look at when they're talking to potential employees, what we want out of those employees, their goals and their vision, and then just helped me throughout that interview process. And even knowing what kind of staff I would need, how soon I would need it, so that way I made the best choices for my business. The materials and playbooks that they've given us to get started has been great, because now every patient, even if they're coming in for a new service, like we have SOPs, we have protocols where we kind of know where to start. We have trainings constantly teaching us new things, making sure that we're keeping up to date on all of our training and education. And then it just makes it so much easier. Once you've done a patient start to finish, then you can kind of get in the groove of everything else. Well Infused fills a huge gap that we've had in our community for a long time. When you go to your normal provider, they're looking at very large reference ranges. Most people are going to fall in those normal ranges. Really, all of their decisions are dictated based on insurance and based on what medication could you take. A lot of it's not focused on how could you feel your best and how could you optimize your health, or how could you prevent from getting into these disease states that we know a lot of people are in. We don't have a lot of education even on diet and lifestyle and things that are really important that a lot of patients don't even know about. And I think it's important, as we're starting to see the health decline in our whole population, but especially our community, that people my age, we've got to start making these better decisions so we can help our kids not get into the same patterns that we're in. So I just think that this is very much needed here. I'm actually pretty surprised at the kind of services that our patients want. I expected it to be one or two things, and I've just seen across the board everything. There are some patients that are just coming to get IV therapy. There are some just getting IV shots or vitamin shots. Other patients are coming and doing functional medicine. We just did a dinner yesterday, and there's tons of patients that are interested in regenerative therapy. Many are coming and getting hormonal replacement. Most of them don't even know exactly what they want. They just know they're wanting something different and they're wanting their health to be better, and then they come in and see what we can offer them, and then they choose from there. When the community comes into the office, they love the aesthetics. They're always talking about how beautiful it is, how comfortable it is. Many people just talk about how it doesn't feel like a doctor's office. It's not just white and clinical. It just feels more like an experience. So yes, we're trying to improve your health, but also just making sure you're enjoying yourself while you're here. I think being the owner versus just the nurse practitioner just makes it a little bit different with patients, because I think I can take more pride in everything that I do, and I treat each one, not that I didn't treat patients like my family before, but I think now I own the business. They are like my family. I want to ensure they come back. I want to make sure that they're happy and that they had a good experience, that their health is improved. So I just think that it just means a lot more when you're the owner too. I think the most surprising thing was just how many patients were so interested so quickly. I knew it was coming. I knew there was a need. I just didn't realize how big of a need, and I didn't realize that patients would be coming from all over. I have patients from Owensboro, Evansville, Corydon, like multiple different cities, even some other states already. And I knew it was possible. I guess I just didn't realize in the first 3 months how widespread it would be. I think it's hard to choose just one win since I've opened this business because I've had several. Just being busy, that's all I wanted, was just to be busy and to be seeing patients and do it in the way that I wanted to do. And I think for the first time, I get to go home every night very stressed, a totally different stress than before. But it's not a bad stress. It still feels better than what it felt when I worked other places. I think because I'm finally doing what I feel is right for patients, so I'm not feeling like I'm giving them recommendations I don't necessarily agree with. These are all recommendations that I would do for my family or for me, and I don't have to think twice about that when I lay down at night. I've also just noticed my own family having lots of health changes already, just starting to make little changes. They're feeling better, seeing my kids noticing us making better changes, and that's just really important to me. Owning the business has definitely affected our lives because it's just totally different. You know, work doesn't stop when I go home. There's always something to do. I do think that makes it a little bit more difficult, just knowing that I'm with patients all day, doing the nurse practitioner role, but when I get done, I typically have emails and business things, fires that I need to put out. I went from working part-time to working double time, overtime, which is still okay because I enjoy what I'm doing. I do think my family has kind of felt that burden a little bit. My husband's had to step up a little bit, knowing that mom is working more than she was before. But I will say now that we're a few months in and things are easing up and we're getting into the groove of everything, that we're able to, you know, still allow family time and get back to a little bit more normal. My typical day typically looks like waking up, getting kids ready for school. Sometimes I take them to school, or sometimes my mom takes them to school, or if my husband's off, he takes them to school. And if they get to do that, then I come into work early. I'm usually here by 7:30 or so. Start putting out all the fires that I can before the doors open, get ready for the first patient to come in. And then I'm typically in my office doing lab reviews for a majority of the day. I'm trying to get out and take breaks, or maybe I'm coming out and helping start IVs or something like that. And then I'm typically closing the doors and rushing to pick up kids to go to the next sporting event or whatever it is they have going on, rushing back home and starting it all over again. Now that I've hired a team here at Well Infused Tell City, it is much better. I have a receptionist, I have a nurse, able to let me do more of the business side of things and really focus on those lab reviews, things that the other employees can't do, and then they take care of the things that I just don't have time for. So my nurse is doing blood draws and she's, you know, starting IVs, and my receptionist is cleaning, answering phones, like doing all the things that I started out having to do that first week. So just letting me have more time to get the things done that I couldn't before. If someone wanted to join as a franchisee, I would just let them know that if you're gonna go this kind of route, that this is the company to go with, because you're gonna get the most support. You're gonna be doing things that you can believe are great for patients and safe. They're gonna help you from the beginning all the way through marketing, through actual owning your practice and being on the medical side of it. I think there's not really another way to go. I don't know if it would have been good that anybody told me anything sooner, because I think I jumped right in and I just decided I was gonna do this, and my husband said yes, so I didn't look back. And I think if I had been told what all this would entail or what I was gonna be doing the first couple months of my business, I would have thought I couldn't do it. I just would have been like, that's too hard. I'm not the girl for the job. I can't own my own business. I don't know what I'm doing. And I think I would have not done it. But now I look back and see all the stuff I did, and I'm glad that we just jumped off the cliff and did it. I would recommend the Well Infused franchise just because of the support that you get, knowing that you can trust everything that you're doing for your patients. The model is set up, your protocols are there. All you have to do is just show up and do it, and it's all done. I think I'm just most excited about being able to change patients' lives that I couldn't do before. And then also just knowing this is just like a totally new life for us. So many new services that are coming. It just doesn't end. There's just always more. There's always more for us as a family. There's always more for us with the business. There's always more for patients. We're just constantly evolving. and I just think that's pretty special. I hope in the next 1 to 3 years that we can really be so impactful to everyone in our community, no matter how big or small. Whether that means they're getting their labs done, or maybe that means they're coming in for IV infusions, or maybe they're just getting a vitamin shot, sitting in the salt room once in a while, or maybe we've just touched a family member of theirs who has learned now how to change their lifestyle, how to eat better, things that they can do to improve their health, and maybe they're sharing that with others so they can improve their health too. I think Well Infused is like home to me now. Just knowing that I work with like a big family of people that I never knew before, but I feel like I've known forever. Just knowing that I'm changing other people's lives, but I'm also changing my own life in the process in ways that I really didn't think would ever happen. I'm Kayla Lawalin, owner and nurse practitioner at Well Infused Tell City.